What's up, and welcome back to the Kinda Funny Gamescast live for Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. Of course, I'm your host, Tim Geddes. I am joined today by Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Good day, Tim.
Snowbike Mike.
Hello, Tim.
And Andy Cortez.
Hey, Tim.
I know it might be annoying that I do this every show I'm on, but every day we get one day closer to the Switch 2 reveal. You know?
We do.
Like
When I saw
we
single
do.
digits this morning, like, whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we are right there.
Yeah.
I know, Andy, I know you're hyped. Bless, I know you're hyped. Mike, do you give a shit?
Tim, personally, no, I don't. But you know what I do give a shit about? Awesome, fun announcements. And they only happen so often. So you have to get hyped for this. So I'm an 11 out of 10, on this one. I'm really jazzed up for this.
An 11 out of 10 for something you don't give a shit about. I don't give a shit. I'm 11 out of 10.
Too.
What is happening?
I'm hoping that Madden's on it. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll put Apex Legends back on it again. I can't wait for the Switch 2 announcement.
I feel like you're
Warzone
mocking
on
us.
Switch too.
No, I'm being for real.
I like that Mike just said what he just said. Bless reacts the way he did, and he didn't even blink.
No.
He was just like,
Used to this bullshit.
He knows, bro. You got to be excited about this. You only
Yeah.
get so many console launches. You only get so many Nintendo console launches. And how do you follow up the Switch? Okay, what an iconic system. Changed the globe. We all love the Switch. You still be playing the
Stop
Switch.
lying
It's a
to my
beautiful
face. We all love the Switch. Name one Switch game.
oh, everyone, this is the Kinda Funny Gamescast, where each and every weekday we get together to talk about the biggest reviews, previews, and topics in video games live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, please support us with the Kinda Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts to get all of our shows ad-free and a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be part of the show, you can submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube SuperChats as we go. A little housekeeping for you. We're an 11-person business all about live talk shows, and you already got some evidence of that with Kinda Funny Games Daily with Bless and Jake Decker breaking down the latest Nintendo Switch 2 leaks, rumors, conversations. I'm so ready to just know the answers, Bless.
Come on, man. We're getting three phases.
Three phases.
First, they released first-party games.
Then-
Second, they released third-party games.
But then, Bless, are you telling me that the third thing would be in the holiday? They're going to release holiday games?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Come on, let's fucking
We are
go.
desperate right now.
Oh,
we
we're
are
cooking.
desperate, everybody.
That's a great three-phase attack.
Three-pronged
Yeah, that's
plan.
a good plan.
Just like
Yeah.
Sister Freed, Mike, in Dark Souls 3.
Exactly.
You got the three phases.
Three phases.
The GDC streets are saying June, though.
That's what they're saying.
I believe
The
it.
GDC streets tried talking to me. I just want everybody to know. And I was like, stop talking to
I don't
me.
have any money. I'm sorry.
Can we
I don't
talk
have any
about
cash.
how bad this industry is at secrets? It's one of those things where like people will be like, listen, I can't tell you anything. I can't tell you this, but like, come on. And like then they'll tell you.
The Tim
and I'm
Geddes
like,
special.
I'm like, you just told me you can't tell me, and now you're telling me.
That's my favorite thing, man. Long drive to San Jose to watch the Final Fantasy Rebirth concert with Tim. About 90% of the drive is Tim going, look, this is like super secret on the download. Nobody knows this, but like I shouldn't be saying this. I shouldn't be saying this.
And the reality is I
but-
shouldn't be saying it. I'm not lying to you guys. You know what I mean?
It rules.
But dude, listen.
I'm getting red right now. More red than normal,
Saying
everyone.
June's about to be fire.
Hopefully, man. Then we had Games Daily. That was about Nintendo stuff. Now we're doing Gamescast. After this, it is going to be a very special Kinda Funny podcast where Greg talks about going to The Last of Us Season 2 premiere. He was actually there on the red carpet last night. Pretty
He looked
dang
great,
cool,
too.
man. Yeah, him and Jen
Looked
can't
great.
wait to hear the stories from that. Did he meet Pedro Pascal? Did he talk to Neil Druckmann? I don't know, but we're about to find out. And then after that, the stream will be more Pokemon Nuzlocke. If you're a Kinda Funny member, today's Greg Way is Greg and Jen hanging out, I presume, either going to or on the way from the premiere. You know, a little adventure down to LA. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining, Carl Jacobs, and Omega Buster. Today, we are brought to you by Stash, but we'll tell you all about that later. For now, let's start with the topic of the show. GDC was last week. We got to play many games. We've been talking about them over the last handful of Gamescast, but there are still embargoes that are dropping. So now we get to talk about a whole new slew of titles, including Crimson Desert, Wuchang Fallen Feathers, and Blades of Fire. Some of these are very anticipated. Some of them I've never heard of. But Crimson Desert is the game that you might not remember, but the moment you see it, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is that game that looks too good to be true. One of the handfuls of those that have been floating around. But Andy, Mike, both of you got to see something about this. Andy, tell me what you got to see.
We got to see an engine deep dive to kind of show you what is possible on what you could do with the engine that is in-house, which is this is the same developer that made Black Desert Online. So everybody knows Black Desert Online is like obviously a pretty popular MMO, but it also had the most like goated character creator. Everybody remembers how awesome that character creator looked. And these are the same devs who are also working on DokeV. And it's their in-house open world engine that they talked about. Like, we want to show you that what you saw in the trailer was not fake. We're playing it here right now for you. We could have gotten hands-on. Maybe, I don't know. But we were given this sort of in-depth engine sort of deep dive, right? And the coolest thing about this was them saying, hey, this is our own proprietary engine. And the reason why a lot of open world games struggle is because they'll force their open world game on something like Unreal or Unity or whatever it may be. And then you have to have a program like SpeedTree to add all the trees into your game. And then you have to get a program like Simply Gone to have LODs do everything. It requires a lot of third-party stuff, and that adds bloat and that adds worse performance. But when you're making an engine like we are, when your engine is all in-house and everything is kind of working underneath one singular engine, this thing is possible. And you can do this stuff without needing crazy amounts of hardware. And look at all the things we could do physics-wise, weather-wise, everything. And so it was basically them showing, hey, remember that gameplay trailer that we showed off about a year ago when everybody was like, this can't be real. This game has everything. No way. This is all vaporware. And then they played it for us, and they were pausing and showing us what happens physics and weather and wind and everything. And it's pretty damn stunning, Tim.
So you guys, you got the option to either play it or see this engine demo thing. Andy, you chose the engine demo because of your game design background. You're interested in a lot of the kind of like tech behind all this stuff. You're saying a lot of things here that I'm very interested in, but I don't understand. You know what I mean? Bless, when you're playing a video game, how often have you been playing a modern, current gen title and you look around at all the trees and go, God damn, there's a lot of pretty trees here. Someone must have designed these trees. You ever think about that?
Yeah, I do actually.
I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
You're telling me there's just something called speed trees that just drops trees into this shit?
Well, there's a lot of third-party programs that a lot of different developers make that help with physics and things like that. Like when I worked in game development, we used SpeedTree, and a lot of companies use SpeedTree, and they essentially have a program that you can license out and kind of drop like a based model tree, and then use like procedural randomization to have different so it's not all the same looking tree. And whenever you place these trees, they will drop in and they will be rotated in different ways. The leaves might go higher. Like there's a lot of different variations you could do so the trees don't look the same. But it's less costly because it's kind of all coming from the same source.
So I like that totally makes sense. And like, so kind of just like stock assets and stuff.
Right.
But is it like you take the stock assets and then apply your art style and all that
You
stuff?
can do that.
And then it kind of like multiplies out from there?
Yeah, you could do that.
Interesting.
You're mainly using a lot of the software to add the randomization. So you can add like leaf variations or whatever, and you can add branch variations. And so it's all kind of coming from one spot. And then when you drop the trees and start placing things, they're dropping at different heights. And you could set like, this is the minimum height, this is the tallest height, and things like that, right? But Pearl Abyss, who is the developer of this and who are making this in-house engine, say all of that stuff is in-house. And that means that like the game download is going to be a lot smaller.
He said, "Fuck that speed tree shit."
Yeah, they said, "Fuck
We got our
tree.
own speed
Slow
tree.
trees.
We're doing
It's like
all
we
of
made
it
our
in
own
here."
fucking trees.
And that's why, like, and it's also, and the other game that our studio is working on, DokeV, which is that one kind of weird anime open world thing. They're like, that's also being made in this, and this engine is meant for open worlds. That's why this shit looks so good, and the draw distance is insane because we really are prioritizing building open worlds with our engine. And so, if we could bring up the first trailer, Barrett, the if you remember the first trailer, it looks like they're dropping from Legend of Zelda Sky Islands, and they're flying in all over the place, and they showed us that gameplay in real time, and were they pausing it often for you, Mike, the gameplay? Because they were pausing quite enough for me to, they would pause it and then show like, here's what the collision models are.
Yes.
And show you like whenever we destruct or being destructive to environment stuff, there's a lot of breakable objects in the world. The harder you hit something, the more pieces it breaks into. There's like so much depth they're going for. They're going for not only a lot of attention to detail, but in my opinion, they're going for what I call like the Twitter game. When everybody blows their load over, look at Arthur's jeans wet when he goes into the water. Look at these tiny details in Red Dead Redemption 2. Nobody's done it like that since. Assassin's Creed, when you shoot a rocket, nothing happens, but in Red Dead 2, it still does that. They're like, I'm not saying that that's the audience that they're going for, but they are going for that level of detail because they want that in this open world fantasy game, which is like sort of looks like an action RPG, but it's still kind of insane the levels of detail that we're getting from this video game, weather-wise, sort of having a dynamic time of day. This game trailer kind of had everything, and we were like, there's no way that this game is real or it's going to live up to this sort of hype. But you sort of put 1 and 2 together and say like,
on that horse.
here's all this crazy gameplay we're seeing.
Yeah.
Here's all this gameplay we're seeing, and we'll show you what our engine can do. So you can kind of guess that, yeah, we are going for all of that, and we are going to nail all of it. They showed us how when you're dropping down from these Sky Islands, in midair, the dude was pausing the game and shooting little towers that soldiers were stationed in, and the towers were crumbling down. And then said, hey, look at that big wooden gate that's blocking us. Really, it's hard to break through. You can't really break through it with your weapon. But if you shoot fire at it, the wood will start to burn, and it becomes easier to break. So now you can break that wood because it's been sort of burnt to a crisp or whatever. And everything sort of has this level of interactivity. They turned on in the engine. They turned on showing the wind volumes of like how the wind is blowing. This shit was cool, right, Mike?
That shit was wild.
Because what did they do, Mike?
They changed the direction, and all the fabrics that we were looking at were moving with the different wind direction in real time.
And
it
then,
was amazing.
And the dude stood next to fabric that was like almost laundry kind of hanging in somebody's backyard, and turn on the wind volumes and would do like because you're kind of a magical warrior, mystical dude. Oh, here it is. And would attack. And based on the direction you're attacking, with the wind volume view on, you would see the wind kind of moving with you. And if you attack near fabric, the fabric's going to move next to you because you are kind of you're creating wind right there. It's insane what they're kind of doing with this.
I mean, the way they just pushed the bush there a little bit when the horse walked through it.
I liked when they showed the horse as well, of like, you always see the clipping through certain objects, and he was like, no, we've built the horse, and then the fabric will drape over the horse correctly and follow that with the wind movement. Super cool.
All of the cloth physics, like they want to be extremely accurate. They talk about like, of course, it's really hard to nail down whenever you watch your character in a game with all these different armors that you put on, and the sword is sticking through the shield, or your cape is getting, they're like, no, we want the fabric to be draping in the right way. We want it to, if you have something on your, if you have like a weapon on your hip or whatever, we don't want the fabric to, get entangled with it or collide with it. So it's going to hang over naturally. They are going for like real cloth physics, real water physics. It's kind of fucking crazy. And
it is.
And
it's really crazy.
And they were like, and by the way, Andy, you don't need, because the first thing I said while seeing all this, I was like, I can't imagine my 4090 screaming in pain while playing this. And they're like, no. Our system requirements are not crazy because.
But how could you believe that?
Because because their engine is just so optimized and it's all in house and it's just less bloat. And them showing this little water physics thing right here, it's like you can have you can have a river, or you can have a rushing sort of like current or whatever, but to have them transition and interact with the rocks naturally, to see how the waves crash against these rocks, and then the waves also come back out, and so you're seeing like the water kind of collide with each other. Like they're going for these crazy levels of detail.
What did they say the requirements were? In terms of
I mean,
system?
I think they're recommended as like a 2080 or 2070.
What?
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Bless you. You're about to say something.
No, I mean I was gonna echo what you said. Mainly that I don't believe it. Like I believe it because you're saying it and you said and you saw it and they showed it to you, but I just don't believe it. You know what I mean?
The volumetric fog here,
This
awesome.
shit was wild.
Yeah, I mean this is essentially a different version of stepping through snow in a game where, you know, kind of more recently a lot of games have been having that sort of movable snow or whatever, and having the volumetric fog sort of dance around you, and then when you create a gap in the fog kind of collects back in, and you know, it's so sick what they're doing with fluid simulation.
So Andy knows what he's talking about and sees all this stuff, and like they're talking to him and it makes sense. Mike, I imagine you're more like me and you're just being
Tim?
told things. You're like, wow, that looks pretty. What was your experience?
There was a lot of nodding, a lot of smiles, a lot of like, this is amazing, everybody. I can't believe you did it, you know? But it was more of like the belief of like, oh, wow, I am one of those people that watched the first trailer and it's like, man, you could do everything in this game. That's crazy.
Like,
And I was
sure.
like, all right, show me that you can. And they showed a lot, and it was really impressive stuff. And really what they passed on to me is like, this is the tech that we'll build off of for the future, right? This
Yeah.
is, of course, Crimson Desert, but like the next games we build will be built on this engine, and it will only get better. But the lighting was so impressive, right?
Yeah.
Going from day to night, seeing the lighting, as Andy will tell you, in all these, you know, sponsorship streams that we do and a lot of the tech that we look at with games, it's like the lighting is such a big factor in these, and it's all about how much that lighting can add to the gameplay and really show so much detail. And the lighting in this was really impressive to see the different nodes that they build all along this cityscape that has light, and how that light kind of becomes a dome around you, and right, and how you can block pieces of the light. The light will then add more light to it, and what that looks like, how it will cast shadows all around you, was really, really impressive stuff. And yeah, I mean, as someone who played a lot of Pearl Abyss's Black Desert, I'm excited for Crimson Desert, right? I want to play this. I can't wait to see this world. And everything they showed me got me even more excited for the idea, just to see the level of detail. Did I believe it? I was the one who was like, can this even run on a console? It's going to blow up my Xbox. And they assured me that it's going to be just fine. So it'll be very interesting to see once we get there.
Yeah, in this first trailer that they showed off that we're watching right here, you get a glimpse of kind of these Zelda Sky Islands, right? And it's one of those, like, you just kind of see them in the background, and I'm like, oh, wait, you can go up there, and that's where they started off our demo. So they kind of run around up there, and then the crazy part was them, you see those islands up there, and then what was kind of wild was them jumping down mid-flight, and you're just seeing the draw distance on this insane world. And they called it a continent, Mike.
Oh
Yes.
man,
They were like, we're calling
GTA has cities.
They're like, we're calling this a continent. Where this isn't like an open world. We are very deliberately using the word continent because of how vast and varied this place is going to be. And as they were diving, they paused the game and showed kind of the crazy draw distance and how they load in the worlds. And, you know, the reason why everything is so optimized because things are being loaded correctly. And as they paused it in midair, they said, all right, go ahead in the engine. Can you turn off the trees to show where the real trees are located? Because the rest of the trees are essentially cards, like what we in the game development community
of
tend to call
course.
cards. But they showed.
What does that mean? What does card just mean?
It's a 2D plane. It's a 2D.
It's like when you get
Mario
real, when you get
64.
yeah, I would
It's a-
say,
it's a
even
straight
GTA
up-
5. You ever look close at a tree in GTA 5?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like
That shit is all 2D.
it's always just when they're really really far away, it's a 2D card, it's a PNG straight up, like. And when they turned off the fake trees, I was like, what those didn't look like 2D. They all looked like real objects, and I couldn't decipher the real ones from the fake ones, right? But the fake ones looked so damn good that when they turned them off, they were like, those are the only real 3D trees there, and everything else is all sort of 2D. And you know, all that just adds to making the backgrounds look as believable as possible, where you're not getting crazy pop in when you're running through cities or whatever. All of that stuff sort of adds to the immersion or whatever. And then they showed how
Yeah, as the non-game dev guy, that was awesome. To
Yeah.
see the circle and be like, you're in the center of it. Here's how much we're loading in. Here's what we're not loading in. This is what you see way out there. And you'll still see the little detail, but like, it's not loaded in. It's not ready for you yet. It's like, well, there's no way for me to just snap over this. So why load it in? Why create that bloat like you said? It
Yeah.
was so cool to see the detail. I really liked that.
Yeah, they during the city scenes, they showed how the lighting and dynamic weather and time of day, right, and how good they want all times of day to look, because it's really easy for games to kind of not look stunning. If when we played Expedition 33, I'm like, this looks so good because this is a set camera with a set lighting, and the artist made sure that everything looks perfect, because you're only ever in this sort of, you're not moving your right stick to move the camera a lot, and it's harder to do that with open world games because that time of day is always moving, the sun location's always moving. But they wanted to show like how good the rest of the time of days look, and then they started making it rain out there. And while they're walking through a city, the NPCs covered their heads because they were getting wet. It's just like little details like that they really want this world to feel as believable as possible.
I have a quick question. So this looks unbelievable. Even everything you're saying still sounds unbelievable, but I believe you, like we keep saying. I felt the same way 10 years ago, it feels like. It must
Watch
have been.
Dogs.
Well, no, with Black Desert. Even the character creator. Like, I remember being at IGN and us, like, hearing about this and then eventually being like, hey, we have access to it. Like, I forget the details, but, like, they opened the beta access or whatever, and you could just create characters. And the way that it looked, we were doing it, we still didn't freaking believe it. What did that result in? What is Black Desert? Does anyone know?
Desert is a massive
MMO.
Yeah, it's an MMO.
Besides the character creator, is the game impressive?
Oh, badass combat like this. Yeah, real flashy combat, giant open world, massive multiplayer online, so you're sharing it with your friends. Black Desert was very cool.
All that is to say, it's like, we should probably believe this. You know what I mean? Like, they've done it before.
Well, I think it was... what this presentation was to me was... Hey, you all saw that trailer. There's a lot of stuff you didn't believe that was happening because we showed off destructible environments. We showed things on fire. We showed if you have a keen eye, you'll notice all sorts of tiny details in the game that you'd probably go, that looks cool, but that's probably not going to be in the final game. And then this engine presentation of them running around the game, and it's not like it was a dude in an undisclosed location. We were just at a long table in a conference room. And they had weird, like, it was kind of awkward because we're at a long, just horizontal table, and you're looking at a screen at one end of the table, and the guy playing it is right there with like a monitor in front of him, and the PC on the ground. It felt very odd, but like, he was there. We weren't watching a video. He was pausing things and showing me how everything interacts with each other, and so that's the stuff that like they were basically saying, hey. If all that stuff you thought was unbelievable, well, now we're showing you what this engine is capable of. So maybe just kind of put your thinking cap on and, put 2 and 2 together and go, all right, this is all feasible in this engine. It all depends on what gets implemented, right? Because at one point they used an ice arrow to shoot water and it created like an ice block, right? And I was like, okay, if I were to use like a fire spell, would that melt the ice? And they're like, well, that's a gameplay question. We're not really answering a whole lot of gameplay questions right now. But if it were to be implemented, yes. Like all of that stuff, they have that level of interactivity that they want to feel real in the same way that, when you electrocute water in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, all the water gets electrified and enemies get hurt in it or whatever. It seems like
it should work the way you think it's going to work.
Exactly. Yeah. They showed off the thing we were all blown away by a decade plus ago with Uncharted 1, where Nathan Drake's pants got wet. And we're like, what the fuck? That's insane.
I was at a GameStop, man, and I saw it, and I was not cool. I saw it. I was literally like, anyone I could talk to, I'm like, you see this shit?
Yeah.
Like,
and they were doing that where, you're riding your horse, and if you go into the water, the horse will start to look shiny or whatever. And so will your clothing. And that's the level of interactivity that they're going for. They want to show that it's all possible in this world. It all depends on whether the game designers think that, like, we want to implement that sort of system.
Did they talk about other people getting to use this engine? Because this all sounds unbelievable. It all sounds very impressive, right? But I look at Crimson Desert, and hopefully it's a game that comes out and I end up, getting into. But I don't expect myself to be like, oh, I'm a Crimson Desert guy now, just based off the fact that I'm not a Black Desert person, right? And even Dokev, That looks cool, but I don't know if I'm going to be a DokeV person. Are they going to like license this out to people to use for their own games for like other publishers and stuff?
I'm not sure, but I think Crimson Desert could be something you get into because it's not an MMO. Like they're building a single world action fantasy RPG. Like it looks like they're trying to make something along the lines of Witcher or something with cool combat like we're kind of used to in action RPGs. The amount of I think the thing that really stuck out to me was them also talking about how the combat works, and it reminded me a lot of what I loved about Dragon's Dogma 2, where they said if you hit an enemy and they get pushed back, they will knock into an enemy behind them. And I was seeing it as they were doing it. If you punch the shit out of an enemy with like a superpower, they'll get hurt by your hit. And if they hit the wall behind them, that's an extra impact that they'll take. And we want that. We want everything to feel tangible. We don't want like enemies just clipping through each other. We want enemies to be affected by other enemies and things like that. But I didn't ask him. I was thinking the licensing thing. I think Mike asked.
I did ask him that question because that's where my mind went. They're very focused on themselves at this time, is what they said to me. They did not have any answers of, we're looking to license this out. It was very much, we're looking at our own team. We're looking at the future of games that we can build in this engine. So no answer for anything like that.
I asked mainly because like it's not even a thing of, I don't think I'll get into Crimson Desert. It's more so hearing Andy talk about it. I'm way more fascinated in the tech, obviously, because that's the focus of the thing, right? But I'm so fascinated in the tech versus how fascinated I am in the game itself. And based on all the things they talk about, it sounds like such we got to get this out to people. If you're going as hard as this with an in-house engine, like, I don't know, like that seems like such a right step of, okay, yeah, let's get this in the hands of PlayStation first party or whoever wants to license this out from us.
I mean, it's sort of the same way I feel about Decima, right? Like we see how incredible Decima is utilized and how 2 studios are using that. And you go, man, I wish it just became like the Sony first party engine or whatever. But who knows? I think that's maybe a conversation for further down the line. But they did kind of let us know a lot of your gameplay questions will be answered soonish, because if we're targeting like a end of 2025,
which is that's what they're saying. Sorry, I must have missed that.
That's what they're targeting. Yeah.
Wow.
They're like, you could kind of assume that. I'm like, all right, Summer Game Fest is where we'll probably get a really big video, big deep dive or what have you, to sort of show what the actual gameplay is. Even though they've showed that first trailer is like pure gameplay. So for any questions of people saying like, well, what's the gameplay like? It's all in that first trailer. It's more of like, do you believe it or not?
Yeah.
And this was all meant to show like, hey, here's all the stuff that's possible. Yeah, you can do all of that stuff in this engine. It all just depends on
also, this was GDC.
Yeah.
You explaining it being in a conference room and the way they showed it to y'all, it's like that makes sense that they're focusing on the engine thing, even if it did sound kind of weird.
This wasn't
played it and didn't.
This wasn't a room of 30 people being seen like watching a projector screen. This was just like a table with a TV on the end of it, showing us kind of what is possible. But yeah, all of it seems just really awesome. I loved the lighting of the interiors, all of the ray tracing that they're doing.
There was one scene,
the tree detail.
Yeah,
I was really impressed. Like, all these trees are unique, right? Like, they look similar, but every single one is different in certain ways, so you never see the same tree. And I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, very similar to like the speed tree thing. Like, that's kind of what they're building of like. That's why like we're all cooking from the same base tree or whatever in this zone. But if you look, that one's curved. That one has a higher like they want everything to kind of not look video game-ish, where you can easily recognize the tiling textures and things like that.
Yeah, you were talking about the ray tracing. There was like some scene we were looking at that was indoors, and it looked like there was like a fireplace or something, and you see like all the shadows that the fire's causing, and it just looked weirdly real. Like a little uncanny valley.
Yeah, it's like a hip lantern, and the thing is swinging all over the place as he walks. It was really cool to see the lighting on that. Yeah.
Any final words on Crimson Desert here?
No, I mean, this is all working on their in-house black space engine. It sounds cool as shit. I want to see whatever we're assuming to be Summer Game Fest preview will look like. Because this game always looked really interesting to me just based on the gameplay alone. And now I'm even more interested that like, oh shit, I think a lot of this is going to be real and is not going to be, you need a $3,000 rig to run it.
I mean, what's crazy is you saying it's going to be at Summer Game Fest. I imagine that means it'll be at the Summer Game Fest kickoff show, but I imagine we'll get to play it at Play Days.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Wow. We got to cut to ads. Like, we need the time in the show to cut to the sponsors. It's the hat. He's in dad mode, everybody. Great.
You don't think the sponsors are going to want this bump in viewership right now? I want to apologize to everybody out there. I'm sorry that Greg Miller, Mr. Stars in the Bank, couldn't be on this Gamescast. I just came back from Hollywood.
Whoa.
All right, where I was hobnobbing with the stars, bless. You know what I'm saying?
Hobnobbing.
But this isn't about me and Pedro. All right?
Who's it about, Craig?
Bella. This is about Tim Geddes, everyone. As you all know, millions of you have seen the clip. Hundreds of thousands of you listen to the podcast. I am cashing in Stars in the Bank Wednesday, April 2nd, during the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal event. That is when I will take Tim's 3 stars and put them into my star pouch.
In the pouch.
And so I just wanted to come on here, all right? And I just wanted to let everyone know that that means today we are starting the Tim Geddes farewell tour to his 3 stars. Every business day from here to me winning those 3 stars, I'm going to do something special for Tim, all right?
No.
Starting tomorrow, that's 1 week, all right? I want you to have something special to remember Mr. Stars in the Bank, all right? I don't want you to ever forget that I'm Mr. Stars in the Bank. 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 Tim Geddes' farewell tour begins right now. But speaking of right now, let me remind you that you wouldn't have Mr. Stars in the Bank if we didn't have sponsors. Of course, we have supporters like you. You could get our show ad-free over on patreon.com/kindafunny. Ad-free on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, Apple and Spotify. But right now, you're not using your membership benefits. That gets you, of course, all the shows ad-free. Show called Gregway each and every business day. Kind of like all the surprises Mr. Stars in the Bank is doing for Tim here on the farewell tour. Tim Geddes' farewell tour to his 3 stars starts right now, everybody. So anyways, right now, here's a word from our sponsor.
This podcast is brought to you in part by Stash. Are you still putting off saving and investing because you'll get to it someday? Stash turns someday into today. Stash isn't just an investing app, it's a registered investment advisor that combines automated investing with dependable financial strategies to help you reach your goals faster. They'll provide you with personalized advice on what to invest in based on your goals, or if you want to just sit back and watch your money go to work, you can opt into their award-winning expert-managed portfolio that picks stocks for you. Stash has helped millions of Americans reach their financial goals and starts at just $3 per month. Don't let your savings sit around. Make it work harder for you. Go to get.stash.com/kindafunny to see how you can receive $25 towards your first stock purchase and to view important disclosures. That's get.stash.com/kindafunny. Paid non-client endorsement. Not representative of all clients and not a guarantee. Investment advisory services offered by Stash Investments, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Investing involves risk and investments may lose value. Offer is subject to T&Cs. It really is a feeling of dread, you guys. Like being the target of it is something I can't explain to all of you. Andy, you know, you kind of get it, but now I'm about to get 7 business days of Greg. Like, all leading up to an event that I've been looking forward to more than most things in my entire life.
I feel that.
All right? And Greg's going to try it. What's he even planning on doing? Doing it during the... I'm not going to let that happen. We can't let that happen. This event
the
is
rules say
sacred.
that whenever he cashes it in,
I thought he was just doing I thought he was just saying a thing and not going to follow through with it and hope people forget. But he proved that wrong right now.
You ever have the fear of
April
like
2nd.
one day you'll have a child and that they end up growing up and becoming a felon?
Yeah, all the time.
Really? You think about that?
Every now and then.
I think
Okay.
like I hope I don't like
Like,
I hope
I don't
if I
raise a
ever have a kid,
monster.
he's not a serial killer.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's kind of how I feel like right now, where I invented Stars in the Bank and my child being Greg Miller grew up and became a monster.
You created that.
I didn't want
Speaking of
this.
that, I just watched that. Not the latest. One of the latest Mythic Quest episodes.
Yeah.
good.
Such a
So good.
such a good show.
With
I
Pootie?
don't want to spoil anything, but it's good stuff.
With Pootie?
Real good stuff. Anyways, we're moving on to another game called. Actually, let's get to some super chats real quick. Let's see what the chat's got going on. The House Has Spoken says, I got a feeling we're going to see Smash on the 2nd. Any chance of Smash on Switch 2 Gamescast like the Mario and Zelda ones? I think that there is a chance that we'll see Smash because Sakurai did do the little eye emoji thing talking about the Nintendo Direct. Will it just be a port of Ultimate, a deluxe port of Ultimate, a new game, a reboot? Who the hell knows? Melee HD, a lot of different options. We'll wait and see. I don't think we'll do a Smash 2 on a Smash on Switch 2 Gamescast before the event, but we will definitely do a what we want from Smash Brothers after the event at some point. Ghostly Icon says, boo-hoo, I don't want GTA 6 to come out this year so I can play Nintendo kid-ass games. Get out of here, Bless. I'm a man. I need GTA to come out this year. We don't need a new Switch. The first one works fine. Then he gives a winky face.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
about to say you paid money for that.
And then AK.98 says, the issue with licensing out the engine is that you have to run and plan around that business, kind of like Telu Factions and Naughty Dog. Yeah,
I feel that.
Yeah,
I guess,
definitely.
yeah. I got thoughts, but I guess I'm more so. It's me speaking as somebody who like obviously wasn't a Black Desert person, and like somebody who, you know, I look at Crimson Desert and I look at Dokev and I'm like, oh, these are probably going to be very huge successes for the studio, but also being like, I wonder how much of a success an engine could be if you just licensed it out, because you're working so hard on this thing. This thing sounds insane.
Let's see Pokemon in it. You know,
Put Keanu
It's
in it. And the thing that I also didn't say is that Crimson Desert, I don't want to call it a tech demo because like that looks like a fucking full ass video game right there. But the way that they're showing off like every single part of the engine via this game gives me the vibe of like, oh, you can sell an engine through, like essentially showing the full potential of it in this game.
Speaking of potential, Wuchang, Fallen Feathers. Does it have it, Andy?
no.
Oh, no.
I played Wuchang Fallen Feathers, had a little appointment for it. It's fine. Disappointed with it.
Wow.
Kind of frustrated by.
What is this one?
I wasn't expecting you to say this.
It's it was first shown at a couple of, maybe it was a developer direct or some sort of Xbox showcase. But you know, it's another one of these action RPG sort of Souls likes. And at one point it showed the main character. She's like running in trees. I'm like, oh, that's like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. This looks so sick.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of frustrated with the movement and the combat of it. It's got some neat innovations where if you die enough, you'll have a random like phantom kind of invade
The golden
you.
Tanuki?
Huh?
The Tanuki?
What does that mean?
If you die enough, you get the Tanuki?
Oh, no. Well, it's a bad guy that hunts you. And if you take it out, then you get like a shitload of your souls back or whatever they're calling it in this game. It's a pretty neat mechanic. It's like this random thing that it really surprised me out of nowhere. I was like, I haven't seen this enemy anywhere. Where the hell did you come from?
I had to remind myself what the golden Tanuki was because I was like, did Tim just make that up?
You weren't on the streams. You wouldn't know, Bless.
Yeah, no. I wasn't dying like that in 3D World. I'm sorry.
I think maybe I just needed to see a bit more variety because anytime I've seen the gameplay of it, I'm like, wow, this looks really awesome, and there seem to be a lot of cool boss fights. But like playing it, it didn't feel as good as I wanted it to. I felt a bit more frustrated by it, and I immediately thought of what the leader of S Game, who's making Phantom Blade Zero, was telling me, where he was giving me like some really interesting, just his own thoughts on From Software and Miyazaki.
Look at the drip on this motherfucker, though. Does he have a chair on his head? Throne? It's pretty sick.
It's cool.
He was like, Miyazaki-san has the benefit of the doubt because obviously this is his shit. He's been doing this forever. People trust him. They trust From Software. They trust the developers. And the reason why we have a lot of like difficulty options is because we don't want players to get too frustrated and fall off because we haven't earned their trust yet. And, you know, we know, and I said, honestly, I felt the same way about Lords of the Fallen, where I was like, I'm not really having fun. I'm kind of frustrated by what's happening in the game. And you haven't earned my trust, and therefore I'm going to just not play this anymore. And it was cool hearing a director talk about that and being like, we have to earn the player's trust in order to want you to keep on playing. And while playing this Wuchang Fallen Feathers game, you know, the whole world has been taken over by this like Fallen Feathers scourge, a plague, if you will. There's always a blight, you know what I mean, taken over. And enemies are being afflicted by it. Some of them are more further advanced in their disease, like Last of Us sort of style, right? Some of them are more human looking. Some of them are just straight up monsters. And the enemies were just kind of a little frustrating. I didn't love the movesets of my character. I was just a bit more frustrated by the experience, and I spent a lot of time trying to beat the challenging boss. And it was definitely a get good moment, but this fucking stupid ass boss would always attack as soon as you hit the heal button. And it's like, it's so cheap, and I hate that. Like, I hate when Souls fights have that, where it's like, I'm so low, and this character's just walking and looking at me, and I'm like,
just waiting for it.
As soon as I hit the button, the attack happens. It's like, all right, well, this is, you know, I think I could have beaten it if you gave me another 30 minutes. I got real close, but I just kept on telling the guy, like, let me keep on going. He's like, are you sure there's another demo over there? And I was like, no, I got this shit. I never had this shit. I kept on dying. It was really, really frustrating. But the weapons have...
Damn, this sucks because this looks awesome, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just like the boss that was presented to me. Maybe it was like some of the enemies that I was running into. It felt lacking. It felt like it wasn't doing anything entirely special to make me want to stick around in the way that Kazan or Lies of P have felt. This isn't your Sekiro, Lies of P, Kazan style fighting thing. This is more traditional Souls where you are... You know, there's no parry. Well, certain weapons will have a parry as a secondary ability. I had a weapon that I had later on when I was fighting that boss, and its secondary weapon was, or its secondary ability was, if you hit the LB button, you parry. Or left trigger button. And that was kind of neat, but the fact that all weapons didn't have that was kind of annoying, and I kept on accidentally thinking that all the other weapons had a parry when they didn't. So every weapon will have two abilities. Primary ability will be some sort of like fast action thing, and the secondary will be something else. And in that case, the secondary was a parry. And the parry was like just way too slow. It felt like I was having to hit that shit way too early. And it's like, you need this shit to be snappier for me to like want to use this ability, because I'm just getting really frustrated by how early I'm having to hit this button and how much I'm having to predict what attacks are coming. So it was just a little bit frustrating. I thought the art style was neat, but I wasn't really blown away by it. I didn't feel like it was doing anything special that would make me want to stick around and say, well, all the other Souls-likes have this sort of thing. You've got this going for you. I just didn't feel that, unfortunately.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. I was going to do the demo for this, but I ended up taking... like no planned demos for GDC, because like Greg was doing the thing where he was putting them all in like the events tab in the Slack, and I, thinking I was being smart, was like, I'll wait for Greg to finish putting in everything so I can like look at all the options so I can plan accordingly. And then I just never totally forgot. I was like GDC week got here and I was like, shit, I got no demos. I really wanted to play that Wuchang game, but turns out might have dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I mean,
save some time.
I think it'll come out and still be fine. It still feels like it, you know, it's capable, and there's a lot of cool variety in the trailers. I just didn't really have a whole lot of that during this demo. And so I had a 2-hour sort of appointment, right? It was like an hour there and an hour with a game called Blades of Fire. But I was looking at my sort of watch, and I was like, well, I have something later on. Is it cool if I stay here extra? And they were like, yeah, actually, you could stay here an hour extra. Like, great. So I'll do an hour and a half with this game, and I'll move on to this Blades of Fire game, which I kept on brushing aside and was like, no, I'm playing this right now. I really want to beat this boss. I'm not having fun, but I need
to do it for me.
But I got to do it for my pride, right? And I kept on kind of like, I'll get to it eventually. And I regretted doing that because I played Blades of Fire, which is a really awful name. But it felt a lot more special than what I expected it to be. And it's something that I wish I would have played more of and given more time and given up on the boss lady I was frustrated with.
Give me the top level pitch on this
one. Blades of Fire, in the best way I could put this, it's like AA at its best, at its finest. This feels like such a AA game, and I love it for that. That's a completely complimentary thing.
Okay.
So it's Mercury Steam. It's published by 505, and it's really unique in that you are a dude who goes to like this mystical forge, and you have all these different materials that you can then forge a weapon with. And the forging of the weapon is its own kind of mechanic. And it's kind of gamified in a way where like you dip the blade back into the fire to kind of heat it up again, and you start to the way that the way it looks, it's like if you see your blade, it'll give you a line that's like maybe curved, and you're like, all right, I need to kind of forge this blade in these areas to kind of match up the lines.
Here's the thing, Andy.
Go ahead.
Name of the game, Blades of Fire.
Are you? Go for it.
You were just like stupid name earlier. It sounds like it's the best name of all time for what this game is.
I was gonna say
a AA game where it's called Blades of Fire, and you need to fucking flame your blade to do different things.
I was literally gonna interrupt Andy at the start of this trailer because I was like, Blades of Fire seems like the perfect name for this game. Because the first minute of the trailer is just a blade on fire.
Well, I'll say this: the TV show, reality show called Forged in Fire, really cool name, and that's all I could think about, and that's way cooler.
Bear, replay the first minute of that trailer. It's like the entire time I'm like, yeah, that blade's on fire right there. Like,
I mean, it just
look at that.
On fire,
That blade is on fire.
I don't know what else to tell you.
No, you're right. You're totally right. It just feels like they put a random name generator. It just feels like a combination of a bunch of different game names. But the gamified aspect of making these weapons is really cool, and you can like get extra perks by forging the blade even better, and then you can name the blade whatever you want, and then you go out into combat into the world. And I didn't really get what the whole gist of the story was, but the combat's kind of interesting because you have a dodge, you have a parry, but the 4 face buttons are your directional swings. So triangle is swinging from the top down, X is like an uppercut swing, circle is swinging from the right to left, and square is swinging from the left to right.
That's kind of cool.
And the enemies will defend in certain ways that you have to kind of swing accordingly. If you die out there, then you lose that weapon, and you can't go get it back unless you go retrieve it. So if you put a lot of work and materials into this weapon that you named after your fucking wife or something, or you named after your dog, it's like your weapon is out there, and now you see the porty blade is still out there, and you're like, oh, I lost that damn good weapon. I really want to go retrieve that somehow. But there was just a real cool feeling of ownership over these weapons that I was making, and then subsequently losing. But if you just beat enemies, they'll give you a bunch of materials that you could forge weapons with. And it just, I really regretted spending as much time as I did with Wuchang because it gave me less time here. And again, the name Blades of Fire just felt like very generic to me. But once I was in there, I was like, man, this is fucking cool.
These
and
blades are fire.
This feels blades are fire. This feels different and special. And I wish that I gave this game more of a chance.
Mercury Steam. That's kind of bizarre, right?
Yeah, I was not expecting their names to pop up on the trailer when you first started talking about this.
I know them from Metroid and Castlevania.
Yeah.
Were they the ones that made that Steam, not Steam World. There was like some 3DS game that was like a strategy game that was steampunky. Somebody in chat will understand what I'm talking about.
So they made Metroid Dread, Samus Returns, the Lords of Shadow games for Castlevania. I don't think you're right, Bless. Yeah, looking at this, the American.
Somebody in chat figure out what game I was talking about. The Lincoln one, maybe.
Lincoln. Nah,
I didn't play it.
Not Lincoln.
I just remember seeing the trailers, and being like, "Man, DSP, codename Steam." That's what I was thinking about. That was Intelligent Systems.
I did have a kind of annoying. There was like annoying NPC who's kind of walking with you, and he was kind of annoying, but the concept of it all, the way the combat felt great, parry sounded amazing, and it was just really neat to have this, what felt like a fairly like new novel thing, being able to run around the world, and again seeing that the enemy starts to defend more to the right, so then you start swinging the other way, and kind of getting the combat down felt awesome. The movement and locomotion of it, it also looked really damn good. It kind of reminded me of the way Doom games looked, the way the materials looked, the metal on his armor and the leather. It has a very good aesthetic visually. But I don't know, I was just kind of like, dang, I wish I spent more time with this. It was a lot of fun. And the idea of creating these weapons and maybe creating this god tier weapon that you spent so hard trying to earn because you got all these really hard materials that are hard to find, and losing that and trying to go get it back from whoever killed you or whatever, just feels like a really cool kind of loop. And being proud of this one weapon that, fucking Big Bertha has been with me since day one, and I've been upgrading.
Man, I love Big Bertha.
But I don't know if there's any gameplay of you, if there's any video of you actually doing the forging and stuff, because that's what was kind of neat, where I accidentally hit a button thinking I was exiting, but I put the blade back into the lava, and I was like, oh shit, and it kind of made it stronger and allowed me to kind of hammer down on the right spots to line up the lines to where it's like as strong as it can be. Just really cool shit. And the more that you do that, the higher grade it becomes, and it becomes more valuable and just a stronger weapon,
This game is out May 22nd.
Yeah.
No way. Whoa.
What? And you had to have hands on it.
Yeah,
right?
I played it for like 40 minutes or so.
What vibe does it give you as far as like open critic? Like, you think it's gonna be one of them, one of them ones?
Why do you ask, Wes?
I need to pick up some
Blessing's
games
desperate
soon.
because everybody outbids him for everything.
I'm thinking.
I know.
Get your money up, bro. Throw some money around.
It's like, why y'all paying so much for fucking like all these? You thought you wanted Hell Is Us that badly?
Lock
I
in.
did, yeah.
You wanted Hell
Locked
Is Us that
in.
badly?
I
Like,
did,
come
yeah.
on,
Did you see
bro.
the recent pickups, Bless?
I
How
did.
much? Hold on, I'll bring it up
Because Greg got some shit that Greg got to a T.
Y'all fucking look at that?
I didn't bid for, but I
don't look
should
at
have.
You got a
He
lot
bid
of time.
$23 on 2 different games.
Yeah, he got Hurdling.
Hey,
and I paid $2 for Possessors. That's the level I'm on, where I'm like, yo, the Switch 2 Direct is coming.
Again, okay, we got another pocket watch
Switch
over
to
here. We got
pocket
fucking
watch.
Barrett looking at my bank account. Fucking
Damn.
Blessing's
I mean,
got
the numbers are public.
Barrett's got SMS notifications whenever something changes in the league. Jesus, dude.
What's the last thing I did? Does it show?
Let's see.
Let's see.
Let Tim
You
publish.
tried to get
I got
Shinobi,
Midnight
and then
Walk.
I outbid you.
Oh yeah, Tim did get Midnight Walk.
Yeah, I got Shinobi.
Y'all are putting
back,
real
dude.
money on this? No, Melissa. It's all. It's we have 100 fake dollars.
Yeah, can you
$6
scroll up to
funny
the
money.
top so I can see
Rogers
how much
filled
money
up.
each person has?
Oh, hold
Is that on this page? Oh, you'll have to go back to the
let me
page.
Roger. Paris has $97 still.
Really?
I have 88. Blessing, you have 98. Spend some
Damn.
money, Bless.
I'll
He's
spend
right,
some money.
though.
Money
Switch
down.
two
Dude,
thing,
Switch 2 Direct is coming. Summer
Yeah.
Game Fest is still coming. Like, you think PlayStation will have a first party game at some point coming out this year? Come on, man.
You got 4
Come on,
openings.
man.
You got 4
God of
openings,
War,
bro.
dude.
Man, I might check right now, see if that Greek side project is
already available.
it's available on there.
Shout out MLB for giving me like 5 points. That's why fucking baseball sucks, dude. Like, come on, dude.
Well,
Barrett will tell you never. Yeah.
This is the I think this is your second year in a row picking up MLB, and I keep telling you they
you just think
review
after.
fine.
You think after
It
an
had a
off
nice
year.
review boost when it first came to Xbox because everybody was like, "Oh shit, this is a really good baseball game," and then ever since then, it's just been more.
You can only
iterative.
improve on the dirt and the jerseys so much.
I know.
Andy.
That's like all it's
Okay.
been these last.
Let me
years.
rush the pitcher. You know what I mean?
They can only do
Give me an
so much.
island
them
of
out,
some
dude.
sort.
Let me go knock down Don Zimmer. Like Pedro Martinez did that one time.
Not to like spoil the game, but unannounced new God of War Greek project is on the board.
That's bullshit.
It is.
That
It's in the
sucks.
website. Listen, I ain't doing it. I don't know what genre that thing is. I am not bidding.
Oh,
No, absolutely not.
I
It's gonna be a
100%
fucking
will.
match 3 puzzle game. No,
I'm making a note to myself to bid on that shit later this week.
I'm not
bid on it.
touching that shit.
Roger says, shout out to partial remake Xenoblade. Roger's the remake master.
That
over
is
there.
such bullshit.
That was
Remake,
bullshit.
remake.
But hey,
Okay.
the rules are the rules. Whatever
Nah,
it
man.
says, man.
I got to see the fantasy critic people about that.
Remake Raj.
Moving on from Blades of Fire. And he was sticking with you.
God damn, I've been yapping.
Yeah,
the
it's,
whole
it's,
time.
it's
Sorry,
the
Chad.
Eddie app out here, and I
God
kind of like
damn.
it though.
Oh.
But I'm a little concerned about what words might come out of your mouth because there's been 2 games that you've been playing. A couple weeks ago, me and you went down to San Jose, watched Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Orchestra, had great chats
Oh my
the
God,
entire
beautiful.
time. We went to a little barcade, got to see a bunch of classic video games.
Mini
talk
Boss, name of the bar.
about Mini Boss. in
Mini
San-
Boss in San Jose, fucking sick.
Pretty rad,
Yeah.
right?
Really cool little bar.
I've heard about that spot.
Yeah, it was an accident that we ended up there. Like it was just next to where we parked. It was like,
Oh,
fuck it,
snap.
let's do it. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Really cool place.
We're talking a lot about old games, the games we haven't played, and we're talking about the top 100 we're doing later this year of like, oh, we have these blind spots we want to go back. And you'd mentioned Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI.
Mm-hmm.
But then today when I asked, hey, what games do you want to talk about on Gamescast? You dropped those.
I put like an hour into Chrono Trigger, and I was like, not for me right now. Maybe not for me ever.
So Chrono Trigger, not
Wow.
for you right now, an hour in. How many hours you put in Final Fantasy VI?
I'm about 4 hours in. I'm
And is it
digging
for
in a
you?
lot more. than I did Chrono Trigger. Something about the combat being different, the ability to, like, I don't know, maybe you could do this in Chrono Trigger, but turning the encounters on and off. Really nice, kind of. Like, I'm enjoying the storytelling a lot more, where as I'm playing Chrono Trigger, and I don't know. I've known about Chrono Trigger my whole life. It's always been that game that I rented once maybe, and just like whatever reason as a kid didn't really vibe with it. But it's always been like the pinnacle of RPGs in my mind. And right off the rip, I'm just like, storytelling wise, it just is not doing much for me. The fucking character being like, we don't know where this portal's gonna take us, but let's just hop right in. It's like, what? I don't know. It's just, I just expected too much. I think I put it way too high up there.
Put it on the pedestal.
Put it on the pedestal, Mike. I put the trigger on the pedestal.
I also still got to play Chrono Trigger, but I do the same thing where I start it and I just fall off pretty quickly into it. But it's one that I want to push through. Because, like, the streets talk about it as if...
Oh, no, I know.
It's one of the ones.
I know, and I think it's one that I...
like, Live Alive or Live Alive.
Dude, I love Live Alive, though. Live Alive was, like, such a perfect, like, bless-ass JRPG, because it was quirky, funny, but then also it was chopped up into these different stories. And so I'm hopping in, and I know if I play an hour and a half, I'm going to, like, knock out a chapter, and that was enough for me. Whereas Chrono Trigger, I know, is a commitment.
And the music way cooler in Final Fantasy 6.
You haven't played far enough.
I was gonna say,
talking about goats and goats.
This entire
We're talking about goats and goats, but I mean, yeah, no, Chrono Trigger's music, it's unrivaled, man. Like, it is Mega Man levels of, like, classic songs. Banger.
You gotta listen to Secret of the Force.
I just put it way,
theme.
I don't even play
Frog's
that.
theme.
Yeah.
I put it way too high up there. You know, I expected the most like adult storytelling and it's just like the little of what I've played. I'm like, oh, this already seems not what I was hoping for.
Can I pitch you on
Final Fantasy 6 also kind of goofy, where the Terra does the magic thing, and the two guys are like swoon, like oh my, and I was like
that was just the time. I don't. Yeah, that's.
It's also Final fucking Fantasy.
yeah, it is.
Can I pitch you on? Because right now I'm trying
old
to find.
game's old, you know.
I'm trying to figure out what game I want to play. Obviously, I'm midway through First Berserker Kazan, and I still want to play it, right? But I feel like whatever. There's also Xenoblade, which I told myself I was going to play, and then I played the first hour. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get to this later.
I played 30 minutes of Xenoblade Chronicles X. And I was like, this ain't for me right now.
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure out what game I want to play because not much is hitting for me right now. I'll be honest. I think I'm sitting in like a post Outer Wilds. Like, I need something that's gonna hit my soul. The same
Gaming
way.
will never hit the same after Outer Wilds.
I'm like everything's making me like not. This ain't Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
What if we both played Chrono Trigger at the same time? You know what I mean? What if we were like, what do they call it? Book club buddies?
Talked about our experiences as we go along.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that one?
Did a full
doing
Chrono
the thing?
Trigger full panel review. We get Mike on there. Mike played Chrono Trigger with us.
How long's the game? 25, 30 hours?
30, I would say. Yeah. Let me look at how long to beat.
I say that even though like during the break, I think I told Tim I was going to play Okami. I have Okami downloaded. I'm just trying to figure
25
shit out.
hours, it seems. People are saying. Wait, I mean,
I'm digging Final Fantasy 6 a lot more.
Yeah. Tell me about Final Fantasy 6. Because I'm excited you are vibing with that.
Yeah.
Because that is my favorite of the classic, like the pre PS1 era ones. Like 6 is my favorite.
I think a lot of it just has to do with the way that the story starts out and where I'm excited for this story to go. And the way that they're telling it as well. Like I think they're just I think the way the characters are interacting with each other, and then having this moment where it's like, pick a scenario. Who do you want to, who do you want to kind of vibe with right now? I just really am enjoying what's happening story wise, what the Empire is doing. Oh shit, they just took over this one city. Like it's just
They're spelling magic with a K.
Dude, it's so cool, man.
Nothing cooler.
And there's just like Magi, like Magi. It's like, just love that shit. And like the idea that, she's like the only magic user. It's like, oh shit, wait, what, you know magic? Like, you pull out that first flame move and these dudes freak the fuck out. They're like, whoa, she just did what? How did she do that? They're like, I don't know, man, but we just got to concentrate on this fight. It's just, it's a cool setup. It's a great premise already in the first like couple of hours that I've been with it. And again, now I'm about like 4 hours in, and I'm just vibing these characters' relationships. And I think that's where like Chrono Trigger kind of just lost me almost immediately with what the story it was trying to do. Where I'm like, I like the different time jumps and stuff, and seeing the differences in. Oh shit, you're like the great granddaughter of whoever the king. That's pretty darn cool. But I don't know, something about the total package of Final Fantasy VI is kind of hitting and working for me right now.
Are they going to 2D HDify Final Fantasy VI?
I think it's inevitable that happens for both Chrono and Final Fantasy VI. I think it's gonna. I don't know when. I don't think it's like imminent, but I do think that. They have gone back. Are you playing the Pixel remaster? Great. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's.
What are the ones they just did for HD 2D? Was that 3?
Dragon Warrior.
Oh, you're right.
3,
it was Dragon.
and then they're doing 1 and 2. But to me, I think that is all evidence of like they'll get to this stuff.
Kefka's cool, man.
Kefka's very cool.
He's cool. He's just a bad guy, man. The castle going into the ground, like what the fuck? That shit's cool. Like that's such a creative thing where he's bless. What have I told you? This Kefka guy, man. He's going to invade this castle, and they're like, oh shit, they're invading the castle. They're bombing it, and he's like, give me the magic lady. And then you and your homies escape. You hop on your chocobos and you're peacing out, and they're like, engage, operation whatever the fuck, and the big castle that you're in starts moving, and it's like its own vehicle, and then it goes underground. It's really wild. I was like, whoa, that's a cool ass little concept. And now he's out. The Kefka is like taking over all these cities. He's pissed off. He wants his magic girl back.
He's the bad guy?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, he's a clown.
Kefka's a good name.
Yeah,
Good
it
bad
really
guy
is.
name.
Yeah. Although the key art for the characters is kind of weird. Like when you look at your characters in the face, like I guess I'm so used to like the way Final Fantasy is portrayed as just straight up way more anime looking.
Oh,
the way the characters look when you're doing your character select.
I don't know if it's different in Pixel Remaster versus the OGs there. But.
Well, I think it probably is because looking at Final Fantasy VI concept art, I always thought it looked kind of odd and way different than what I'm used to with like seeing 7 and 8 and 10 growing up. But,
I mean, distinctly different. I mean, 7 really kind of ushered in the like steampunk aesthetic and like the way more modern sci-fi.
Yeah, like look at this. This is weird as shit, man. Yeah, her face is kind of freaky looking too, and all the dudes look weird as stuff.
The opening shot of 6 walking through the snow as the song plays. Come on,
and that's what I'm saying. It like just start. It it starts off with a fucking just a tone and a vibe, man. God, credits again. When you could start off your game with the credits rolling in the beginning, it's the coolest shit of all time.
God,
I wanted to see like the composed by Woodkid or some shit.
amazing.
Developed by Kojima.
Well, I'm hoping to hear more from you, Andy, in your journey. Hopefully with both games, but we'll see how this all shakes out for you. But I'm also very excited because you're not the only one playing a Final Fantasy, Andy.
Oh, shit.
Keep going, Andy. Don't stop. Keep going.
Because you got a couple entries away from 10, baby.
Oh, I put like 20 hours into 10 back in the day.
Oh, you know about Seymour?
I know about Seymour. I know about Seymour. I know about Blitzball. No, I don't remember any of it, but like I bought Final Fantasy X, and I drew so much fan art of Final Fantasy X back in the day.
My boy Titus. But Mike, you're Final Fantasy X pilled now, and I never thought I'd see this day. You've fallen in love with Kingdom Hearts. I was like, this is the most mind-blowing thing to me. You fall in love with Final Fantasy X, still makes no sense to me. But y'all, this is an authentic love. Every day this man's walked into this building screaming about his excitement for this game.
I'm head over heels.
Final Fantasy 10 out of 10.
Seymour has the deep V, bless, that you just keep watching. You just keep looking at that deep V, and it's so deep.
Well, now I got to play it.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm in love with Final Fantasy X, and tomorrow we're going to talk about that love. We're going to recap the story. We're going to talk about the moments because I don't want to spoil that. But, like, I'll tell you right now, Tim, I'm having an absolute blast. I've fallen in love with the combat. I've gotten lost in the grid system. I'm a grid master. I'm a grid master now. I love the characters. Seymour out here. Seymour's got a lot going on. He's got daddy issues. You know what I mean? He's trying to. I mean, it's like it's a Rufus situation all over again. You know what I mean? Big Rufus had to step up. He had to lead Shinra.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about that. You know, it's just so good.
Does this mean you're a menus guy now?
Dude, I'm lost in the menus, buddy. I'm deep in the menus.
All right, no more complaining about menus ever again when we do streams.
Blitzball. I'm recruiting people for Blitzball. I'm asking everybody on the street if they like Blitzball. I just signed this guy. KU might be the greatest defender of all time in Blitzball. He's getting a max contract. Keepa, he's already got a max contract. He gets to stay forever. I'm having so much fun with Blitzball. Then on top of that, I'm getting these Aeons right, which are my summons. Woo! Don't let me tell you about Roger. Don't let me tell you about LeGoat, LeBron. It's crazy.
Don't let
Rogers
him.
is different.
Yeah,
Oh.
Roger's different.
You can name them in this one.
That makes so much more sense. Okay.
You can name
that
them.
makes sense.
Tim,
Fucking Roger.
this is a journey that I can't wait to continue on. I don't ever want it to stop. I'm 20 plus hours in. I'm tearing through it. I'm having so much fun with it. I could go on, and that's why we'll do it tomorrow because I'll do it right now if you wanted me to.
Was that Kenji in the chat? I think it says Tim is so proud. Yes.
Ken Jr.
Ken Jr. I am so proud of you, Mike.
Oh my God. Bless, let me just tell you really quick, Tim. I know you're proud of me. Let me tell you something real quick. They got the baddest of the baddest baddie in this game, okay?
Tell me more.
Lulu. She's the absolute baddie. She's got a
Soft
heart
mommy.
of gold. She might be a little
Hold on,
hard on
Bless.
the outside.
I don't know if you want to Google this on stream.
Let me
Your
tell you
reaction might not be something you want recorded to
This
see
guy
Lulu for the
Chipu
first
was
time.
dating Lulu, and he said, "You know what? I got a baddie, but I got to go out and protect this baddie from sin." And he gave his life to make sure that his girl doesn't ever have to encounter sin.
Man,
It's a
those are some
beautiful
big
story.
natties on this fan
It
art
is
I'm
a
looking at right
beautiful
now.
The big
story.
naturals on the screen.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just letting
Dude,
you
Lulu
know.
changed my life back in the day. I remember being in Spanish class drawing Lulu, and people were like, "You're a little freak."
Like, how many belts are you going to put on her? No, all right, Mike, here's the thing. You've been saying this a couple times, but just to make it very clear, tomorrow, the Gamescast, a one-on-one, Tim Geddes and Snowbike Mike. Snowbike Mike recapping his perspective of Final Fantasy X so far. I'd say you're about a third through the game.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to hear your thoughts
I
and get
stopped
you
the wedding.
caught up on this.
You stopped a wedding.
Just so everybody knows where we're kind of going to be at. I stopped a wedding. I'm leaving a snowy area. We're moving forward. Don't get me started, Tim. Don't get me started.
Can't
Always
get you
wanted to
started
stop
today
a
because
wedding.
tomorrow we're letting him off the leash. Mike's gonna go talking about Final Fantasy X, and I can't wait. What a life! Everybody, stay tuned. If you're still on Twitch, stay where you are. If you are on YouTube, you're gonna have to make the jump over to the next video for the Kinda Funny podcast. It's sure to be a great one. Greg Miller breaking down his journey to Los Angeles for The Last of Us 2 HBO premiere. I'm very excited for all of that. But until next time, I love you all. Goodbye.